Hello, everybody. Welcome to Broadway.com's Live at 5. It is Tuesday, April 2nd. I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm Paul Wontorek.
And we are here with Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello.
And our guest today is very special.
He is.
I like to say it like that for some reason.
We love him.
Jarrod Spector is here from the CHER Show.
Sonny Bono in the CHER Show.
It's always
his
sunny.
latest stage triumph.
Always sunny. He's got a lot of them.
Many.
He has a lot. We're going to get to that, but first, our top 5.
You have even longer to see this off-Broadway hit.
Ain't No Mo.
Oh, boy.
Not out of time. Ain't No Mo has announced an extension. This is a big hit down at the Public Theater. It will now end May 5th. So this is the second extension. It's like
I can't believe you didn't say there's Mo time, but it's fine. It's
That
fine.
would have been good.
That really was on her.
Yeah, I should have
Comes up
done
with
that.
I'm just reading. She does the punchline and I do the straight news.
Okay, cool.
That's how
Got
we
it.
do this.
It's a
Beth.
give and take
This is a new
relationship.
play written by and starring Jordan E. Cooper. It explores, get ready for this, the value of black lives in a country hurtling away from the promise of a black president.
Big breath
Take
in.
a deep breath. People are loving it, though. I love his name. Stevie Walker Webb directed.
Oh,
we
head
did a good
shake for
job
that one.
because people are liking it. So anyway, go check out Ain't No Mo. There's Mo Time.
There you go.
And and Madison Square Garden is going to be really rocking.
Okay, we've mentioned this show before. We're talking about We Will Rock You, the
I feel like
Queen
this show's been haunting our whole
musical.
careers.
Haunting is a strong word. We Will Rock You has not played New York City, to my knowledge.
Remember when there was that whole period of time we were waiting for it to come to Broadway?
Yeah, we were waiting for Orphe to be in We Will Rock You. It hasn't happened, but it is coming to New York City, to Madison Square
There's
Garden.
a character named Scaramouche.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. It's
Thank
one
you.
of those kind of shows.
6 performances only at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. It will play from November 14th through the 17th, 2019. This is the Queen musical. I'm not going to walk you through the plot
Scaramouche.
because
Galileo.
there's a lot to it.
Galileo. Any name ever in a Queen song
It's
lyric is a charactor. Jarrod Spector, have you ever auditioned for We Will Rock You?
There's
Never
still
auditioned
time.
for it. That
There's still
might be
time.
the way to get it to Broadway.
This won an Olivier for Audience Award for Most Popular Show. They should do that for the Tonys. Anyway,
Ooh,
we
what
just
would
we
win?
just called the Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards and leave
Oh,
it at
right.
that.
We do that.
It played the West End in 2002 and
For like
forever. For a very long time. But it's not there anymore. It's coming to Madison Square Garden in November.
Some stage favorites are headed to this world premiere production.
So this is one of those musicals we have our eyes on because it might end up on the
You never know.
Broadway. The
Never know.
Flamingo Kid was a really fun 1984 Matt Dillon movie.
I saw it.
He was at the height of like cuteness, right?
Remember when we talked about The Outsiders? This was after that.
And now, it's a musical, and they announced it's happening at Hartford Stage, and they announced that newcomer Jimmy Brewer, congratulations, Jimmy Brewer, he graduated from Carnegie Mellon, I believe, last year. He's playing Jeffrey, that's the Matt Dillon role. 3-time Tony nominee Mark Kudish, he's playing Phil Brody.
And that's how you have to
Just-
say
that
it
was my like
forevermore.
unnecessary Mark Kudish intense moment.
It worked.
Olivier winner, Leslie Margarita, former Broadway.com vlogger, will be playing Phyllis Brody. I'm sure when it goes to Broadway, she'll be vlogging for us.
What was her vlog's name?
Vlog to come.
What was her vlog's name?
The first one was, what was the name of that show? Matilda?
What was the name
Would
of the
name
vlog?
the vlog.
I don't know
Looks
that.
not
Looks
books.
not books.
Oh, hello. That was like one of the best ones. And
It
then
was
what
so
was
good.
the name of the one at Dames at Sea?
See, that I don't remember.
Beth Stevens.
I don't know.
You tried to do it to me. I turned it right
No,
back.
you totally did.
Anyway, Liz Larson is in it. Adam Heller, Samantha Massell, Lindsay Brett Larson, and other. Lindsay Brett
the whole Larson family. What are
Carruthers,
you doing?
Ben Fankhauser, Alex Wise. A lot of people that we love. It's being directed by Darko Tresnik, and it's written by Robert Friedman and Scott Frankel. Anyway, it's a big deal. May 9th to June 2nd. It's about this cute, as I mentioned, kid who like goes to work at like it's like a cabana boy at El
Cabana Boy.
Flamingo, a posh private club in Long Island. It's like a summer, there's a lot of bathing suits. Leslie Margarita will probably be in a bathing suit.
Lots of bathing suits.
Anyway, it's going to be good. And then maybe it'll come to New York, depending on how it goes.
Well, there's your pitch. Thank you.
I'm going. I'm so going.
Donmar Warehouse's next season has been announced, and there's some goodies in there.
All right, guys, this is a lot of information, so get your pencils ready, and I'm going to zoom through it. This is the first season under the new artistic director of the Donmar Warehouse in London, Michael Longhurst. I'm just going to tell you the titles. David Grieg's Europe,
Sure.
Brandon Jacob Jenkins, Appropriate. Are you ready? The troupe Clean Break is a co-production with, this is a lot of information. Alice Birch's new play, it's called Brackets Blank.
It's in brackets. We like brackets over parentheses, right?
It's like
I
title
love
of show.
brackets.
It's like title of show they should play in rep. It's Michael Liu's Teenage Dick. Calm down. It's about Richard the Third. Thank you. Everyone take it down a notch. Okay. And closing out the season will be a revival of Carol Churchill's Far Away. Look on the site for all the dates and the information.
There's a law that you have to do a Carol Churchill revival,
The
3
Donmar-
times a year in London.
Yeah, that's the law. That's the British law. That's correct.
Law. We'll ask Imogen.
We'll ask Imogen Lloyd Webber about the law. That's what we need to know.
And the Queen has joined Twitter, and we are not worthy.
Oh my God!
We must
Miss
worship
Patty
her.
LuPone, welcome to the Twitterverse.
Yes.
This is like the greatest news ever.
I mean, I'm
we
following
actually
her.
spoke to. I went back. We spoke to Patty LuPone in 2011 because somebody was impersonating her
On Twitter.
We talked to her about it, and she like stormed into the Twitter office in Silicon Valley and couldn't get past the receptionist.
I mean,
she was trying to get it
if
taken down.
only there was footage.
It's like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And now she is officially.
And
she's
she said at that
verified-
time,
What?
she said at that time, I will never be on Twitter. I will never be on Facebook. But life, things change.
So Stacey Levine, who's a producer, talked her into it. She said, "Let's see how long I last." That's what Patty said. Her first tweet was, "Where is it?" Wait, she swore.
Yeah.
Just look it up. Just follow her.
She
It's
said
Patty LuPone.
240 characters couldn't effing contain her because
Thank you.
nothing can
Thank
contain
you.
her.
Yeah.
And then she said, the older I get, this is an exclusive quote to Broadway.com, everyone. Exclusive. The older I get, the more I have to say, and the less I want to say it. Yet she's joined Twitter, and we love her for it. So welcome, Patty LuPone.
She's
We're
following
into
no
it.
one.
Instagram's next. I think the first step was when Josh, her son, made that behind-the-scenes video
It's all
blog.
Joshua's fault.
Yeah, that got her.
Or
got
to
her
his
sort of ready.
credit.
Anyway, we love her.
Let's talk about what else is on the site. We have closing time, letting us know
Right.
what to catch before time's up.
Yes.
The new George Salazar vlog
Sure.
from Be More Chill. He checks out everyone's dressing rooms. It's really cool. It's like a zooming
Cool.
through that. We have photos of Miscast, the MCC Theater Gala
And we
last
have an
night.
exclusive clip of Orphe and Andy Carl, second Orphe mention in one broadcast.
We're here for her.
Singing "Get It, Feed Me." See, she was the Little Shop of Horrors from
Okay.
this cast.
I didn't know what
It's
you were
really fun.
doing for a second. And we have a nice and lovely photo of Shoshana Bean and Jeremy Jordan, who will be starring in Waitress together. So,
And then Gotta Dance.
Yeah.
Carly Bettiol of the CHER Show. Did I say Carly's name right? Jared's co-star. We did some fantastic Matt Murphy photos. And I also want to say quickly, we're already running over, but Cape Playhouse announced their season in Cape Cod, doing a lot of really fun things, like Jason Gote is doing The Importance of Being Earnest, with Dan Embroyer from Younger. Little Shop, Andrew Keenan Bolger is doing it with Lauren Zakin. Chorus
Broadway
Line, directed
people.
by Joyce Chittick.
I love her.
Yep, and choreographed by Rick Fogno.
Who's in Kiss Me,
Sarah
Kate.
Estes playing Cassie. Anyway, they're doing Noises Off. They're doing that. Anyway, check it out. It's on the site.
Broadway
But I gotta
people
get out of here because
in
there's a
Massachusetts.
very talented
Goodbye,
guy
Paul.
here.
Thank you very much. Caitlin,
Yes.
tell us about our guest.
Gladly. Yes, we have Jarrod Spector here in the studio with us today. He's currently starring in the CHER Show on the Broadway. And he's also here to tell us all about his concert at Stony Hall that's coming up. He's super busy. You may know him from his Tony-nominated turn in Beautiful, the Carole King musical. And he was also seen in Les Mis and Jersey Boys. He's also a vlogger. We love him here. Make sure to follow him on social media at Jarrod Spector and get some serious FOMO over his recent vacay. And make sure you leave all of your questions in the comments below. Please welcome Jarrod and Beth.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hi, Jared. You're all tanned and rested.
I'm a little tan and a little rested.
And all of Broadway is jealous of you
No,
because you were on vacation with 3 Broadway stars.
that is true. Yeah, we
Tell
got
us all
quite
about
a
it.
few looks. Yeah, we went to Turks and Caicos.
Of course, Jared is married to Kelly Barrett.
to Kelly Barrett.
Star of Fosse/Verdon on
Yep.
FX, coming at you April 9th.
Yep, next Tuesday, week from today, premiere.
Amazing.
Playing Liza Minnelli, and Jen Colella and Shalina Kennedy. So we were all on
So
a little
it's really
vacation
like
together.
a lot of
It
Broadway
was-
stars on one vacation.
It was, yeah. I mean, we definitely got a few double takes of people trying to figure out how I managed to be with all three of those women at the same time.
It is a question.
Which is confusing, frankly. But but it was a wonderful week, and they're all incredible.
Well, you were voted Broadway's most sexiest man.
I'm pretty sure
once
my
or
mother
twice.
was responsible for that, though.
Thanks,
I think.
Mom.
I don't know.
I
I'm
know
not
you're
sure that.
watching.
Thanks, Ma. I don't know.
But now you're getting the vest back on, getting the fringe back on, getting the wigs
mustache,
back on.
mustache is going back on in just a few hours.
So let's talk about playing Sonny Bono, because this is not your first time playing a real person. It is your third time. How did you? That must be difficult. You played Frankie Valli in front of Frankie Valli.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically our Barry Man, as far as I can tell, from Beautiful.
Okay.
And now you're playing Sonny Bono, who is no longer with us. So maybe you had a little more leeway with this one. Except we all know what Sonny Bono talks and
Right.
looks like.
That's the trick of it, is a little more leeway insofar as Sonny isn't here to comment, but Cher is. So in that way, not any more leeway than anyone else. And because Barry is famous as a songwriter, but not necessarily famous as a TV personality, as a singer, as much as Sonny, and certainly Frankie. It's actually a little more restrictive. I mean, the way that the show is set up in this very Rick Ellis way, that, you wait a half an hour before you hear Sonny sing for the first time.
And then you lose your mind.
And we wanted that moment. I know when I say we, I know the creative team, and I certainly in doing my homework ahead of time wanted that moment to be as authentic as possible. And so, I listened to it ad nauseum. Just constantly and singing along with it until.
What was your research like? Was it like a YouTube fest?
Oh my God, yeah. And my wife and I did a show at 54 Below a few years back, all about musical married couples. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, before that show, I didn't have as much experience with Sonny and Cher as one might expect. But in preparation for our Sonny and Cher bit that we did in that show, she made me watch every single episode of Comedy Hour. So by the time I got offered the first reading of the CHER Show, I was like, oh my God, I've already done all of the work. I've done so much of the work, and I was sort of ready to walk in. So yeah, it was YouTube festival, and of course listening to especially the most famous songs, where you can really hear like Little Man and I Got You Babe, that are so sort of iconic, and when you hear them, you're like, oh, that's
and he has a high voice.
He did actually have a pretty high voice, and hers
not
is
Frankie
fairly,
Valli high, but
yeah, not Frankie high. And Cher's is fairly low, which is a lot of times where they could actually sing the same line or trade off lines. But yeah, his voice it's high. He's straining up there a little bit every now and again.
Yeah, he wasn't known to have a beautiful voice.
No, but
he was more just a personality, I think.
And a prolific songwriter. I feel like that is one thing that is a little bit underappreciated with him, is his comic timing is fantastic. And if you go back and watch Comedy Hour, you're like, her zingers don't work if he doesn't set them up as well as he does. And of course his songwriting, because he wrote I Got You Babe and Beat Goes On and Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down and all these tunes that we think of as Sonny and Cher songs, but he actually, despite no musical training whatsoever, just sat down at a piano and his 6 chords that he could play, or however many his quoted as saying. That's all he needed.
So now that I think about it, you on vacation with 3 gorgeous Broadway women is not so weird, because you've got 3 gorgeous Broadway Chers.
That's very true. I didn't think about it. Yeah, I should have been more. Maybe that's why it wasn't so uncomfortable. It was totally fine. It was yeah.
What is it like to play off the different Chers when you have meteor scenes with Teal or with Michaela? But tell me what it's like to just have different Chers walking around backstage.
Yeah, well, they're all so, thank God, these are 3 arranged marriages, and you walk in, especially with someone like Michaela, who's so young, and the first time we met, and it's you're 30-something and she's in her teens, you're like, how is this gonna work? Truly, like, you never know what you're gonna get, and she is a miracle, and Teal is just, they're all so wonderful, and it's Steph Block, Stephanie J. Block. So I'm so damn lucky every day to be able to play with these 3 women, and the trick of it is to think of them as one. That's really, that's part, that is the biggest obstacle, or the biggest hurdle. Playing Sonny is when they swap in and out, even in the middle of scenes, it's the same person. And by the time I get to Stephanie, I have to imbue her with everything that happened leading up to our time together. So when I look at her, I have to see all the stuff that happened with Michaela, all the stuff that happened with Teal over the course of the show. And I think for them too, they have to do the same thing. When Teal steps in, she carries the history of the character before her, and when Stephanie, the same thing all the way through the show. So by the time we get to, spoiler alert, Sonny dies, in the show, by the time we get there, Stephanie and I have to imbue that scene with everything that has happened, even if it wasn't the 2 of us talking to one another.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a serious question.
Okay.
Let's talk about your mustache. I just want to get to the hard-hitting journalism.
Let's talk mustache.
Did you ever consider growing one?
No.
Okay.
Okay, but let me back. Oh, there's like.
And also, how many wigs do you have?
I have 2 wigs.
One on top of another.
One on top of the
Watch
other.
the vlog.
Yeah, because the quick change from the first wig to the second wig is 10 seconds. So there just was no time. They pull off a vest and they pull off the wig and they brush me down and I run back on stage. So it's it's a little bit of theater magic, and it is in the vlog.
Yes, it is.
I grew a mustache for the reading and for the lab. And
what did Kelly say?
She said, if this stays on, we're divorcing. No, and not in those words exactly, or maybe it was those words, but she was kind of kidding. But no, I asked about it, and it works out fine because truly, if you are a Sonny and Cher fan, a lot of people who come to the show are, you would know that he famously did not have a mustache.
Right, in the very beginning.
In the beginning, yeah. Mm-hmm. So he didn't really grow one until like Comedy Hour.
I have a Kelly question quickly.
Please.
She's playing a real person too.
Yes.
So your household just must be constantly looking at things. And Stephanie played Liza Minnelli.
And Stephanie played Liza as well.
So how is that going on?
That's we talked about it a lot. I mean, I've got this show coming up at Sony Hall
Yes.
on next in a couple of weeks.
April
on April 15th. And it's
Tax Day, celebrate.
Yes, celebrate your tax day at Sony Hall. And it's called Con Artist because it's all about this. It's all about playing real people. And certainly Kelly and I have spoken about it a lot. And she's, her Liza Minnelli training was very serious. And, it's Broadway. It's not an imitation. It's not a Vegas act, and
Right,
I don't
this
mean
is
that,
an
and I don't mean that
impersonation.
in a derogatory way at all. I just mean it's not an impersonation. It's the theatrical, retelling of someone's story. So to be able to find the pillars of what makes them recognizable, what makes them famous, while also honoring the words on the page and telling the
story,
telling the
right.
play.
But you have to find their
is the trick.
essence.
Yeah, without doing a full imitation.
It's
I
hard
always say
because like Sonny and Cher have very distinctive voices
They
and
really
walks
did.
and vibes.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
so
a word, vibes? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, I think Sonny Bono. I think vibe.
me too. I mean, the way he sits back, the way I'm a
I know he wasn't
I'm
like
a
born
Northeast
in.
guy. And
I don't know where he's from originally.
he was from Detroit.
But he's such a Southern
Oh,
California
for
guy.
sure. Yeah, but because he was born in Detroit and lived there until he was 9 or 10, it affects his vowels and it affects the
Oh,
way
really?
he speaks. So trying to copy him he's not just a normal Southern Cal guy. He's got all this weird
And
stuff.
I think of you as super laid back.
Are you
so
serious?
laid back.
You're joking, right?
Yes,
Because
I'm
okay, thank you.
That's
Good,
why, like,
yeah.
when I
No.
said, well, you are like Barry Mann, I think you are like Barry Mann.
I mean, I'm not a hypochondriac, but I am a Northeast Jew, and Sonny is not.
That's so
to
true.
my wife was like, you have to sit back and put your hips forward. He leads with his
Relax.
crotch, and I don't.
Don't lead with your crotch.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, I sort of, we all in the Cher Show kind of lead with our crotch because
That's
they
true.
all kind of, they're very sexy,
true.
sexy people.
But you gotta put, you put on that Bob Mackie stuff, and it's
Yeah.
there for you,
Oh,
right?
you have to.
And you've got a real Sonny costume
I
piece.
do. Yeah, they were searching for during our Vegas section as they became famous in Vegas just before Comedy Hour. There were 3 sections, but we only had 2 costumes, and it was pretty late notice. And Bob Mackie did the thing that only Bob Mackie can do, which is make a phone call and say, "Send me that shirt that he wore." And so
And it
they,
fits. Or they
Yeah, I
pull
mean
it.
they had to cut it apart and make it fit me, but it was but it's crazy to wear
awesome.
his actual shirt. With, this, it's so cool.
That's amazing. All right, I know you guys have questions. It's Jarrod Spector. You have questions.
you have
so we will
questions?
get to those questions. I
Anything.
got a lot
True.
of questions first. I'm sorry to take up your time.
It's true. I can ask the questions now.
Yes.
Okay. So Jenny says that when I saw the show, the first time you spoke, there was an audible gasp throughout the audience. What was your training like, and how do you keep your voice over 8 shows a week
Healthy.
and healthy?
Yeah, I mean, considering I do the same vocal warm up and warm down every day. So that's like 30 minutes warm up, 15 minutes warm down that I did when I was playing Frankie Valli. Because despite the fact that it's not as much singing, obviously, as Frankie was 27 songs a show and Jersey Boys, it's very taxing to do that sound because it's not obviously how I speak. Sonny's it's definitely different. So to be able to speak like that, yell like that, do all the scenes, and sing fairly high for much of the show, it's taxing. So yeah, I mean, to sound like him, I just listened to it and tried to place it. He's very nasal and
Super nasal.
Yeah, that weird adenoidal sound that I tried to find, and it is wonderful.
Because he was straining, but you can't strain 8 times a week.
That's right. You have to find a way to do it healthily. You can do it once, or even, you might even be able to, if it's a film, or, for a month or 2, you might be able to make that sound. But a year, 8 shows a week you have to find a way to do it sustainably.
So Samara asks if you could wear any costume in the show that you don't wear, what would it be?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
I mean, I'm tempted to say, the Oscar dress that she wore with like the crazy mohawk.
pull it off.
I
Yes.
don't know if I could. And my other favorite one is the Native American headdress one.
Yeah.
But Tarian Everett in our show wears that one, and no one can ever wear it again now because he's like a living god. So, yeah, one of those two anyway. At least alone, like with nobody looking except Kelly, I would do it.
Awesome. Michelle wants to know, what was it like? What's the process been like creating the song list for your upcoming concert, and how is that
Yes,
going?
tell us more,
What are you
tell
most
us
excited
more.
about?
Oh, I mean, the show again is all about playing these real people, and so it's sort of this combination of my parents cast me as Bobby Darin when I was 6. Truly, I was on Star Search, Ed McMahon's Star Search when I
Watch
was
the
6.
show, people,
and,
with
Watch
Jarrod
it.
Spector.
so it's like I have to capture that. I mean, if I'm being true to like how long have I actually been pretending, not just pretending to be other people, because we all grew up singing other people's music, but sort of really getting into the headspace of other people.
Embodying
It's been since
other
I was
people.
yeah. I mean, they force fed me Barry Manilow. I mean, I pretended I was
Force-fed.
Billy Joel, for most of my young life, and so that's
Would you
even
do it again?
before.
Would you play another real person? if it came up?
Sure, and that's in the show too. Like, what would I actually do if I could play? I mean, of course, I would play. I would do anything. If the script is good. Certainly, if Rick Ellis wrote it, I would. But no, really, I would do anything.
Do you have a dream
that's-
real person you want to play?
There are a few, but I often my usual answer to that question is Bruce Springsteen, because I think that would be really fun, and his like life in Jersey. I feel like it would be it's not terribly far, at least geography from me.
It's all about the geography and
Yeah.
the vowels.
Yeah, and the vowels. Yeah, you have to get the
I think we
vowels
have time
right.
for one more question, Caitlin.
Yeah, okay. Oh, this is so stressful.
so many.
Okay, so Lisa wants to know, just how does it feel to be playing an icon with a bunch of icons on Broadway 8 times a week? If you could sum it up, like 3 words.
Sum it up.
with a bunch of icons. You mean like Stephanie J. Block
Yes,
icons?
yes.
Broadway
Broadway
stars.
icons.
Listen, we get to the big answer is like I get to sing and dance and play for my living. It's a miracle. I am constantly awed and filled with gratitude, and then to be able to do it on this scale in a show like this that is so exciting that people love, and to be able to look into Stephanie J. Block's eyes every night. And
I wish we could all look into
it's-
Stephanie J. Block's eyes every
yeah,
night.
it's no. I mean, it's startling. She's there, and everyone in the show is truly. I mean, I'm not exaggerating from top to bottom. Everyone is phenomenal. But to
These
be
are
able
pros.
to, yeah, they're amazing. They're all amazing.
Okay,
and
I have one
Stephanie
more
is
question for you.
Killer.
And then we have to go. We've actually gone over, but we love you so much. We just want to keep it.
I
It's
would
talking
love-
to you.
I'll
totally
stay. Listen.
What I'm sure you've been asked this many times, but I don't know that I've heard the answer. What has Cher said to you when she saw you as Sonny? What was her reaction?
She so the first time I saw her was she came and saw the show in Chicago. She saw it a few times, and she saw it an evening show, and then she came again to the matinee, and then in between the matinee and the evening show of that particular day, she came backstage, and she walked into the room, and she's Cher. I mean, she's just. Sometimes you meet famous people, and you don't quite get it, but with her, you do. She's got something. The molecules change, and she's magnetic, and she was wearing this, of course, like
getup.
skull laced thing with a hat. I mean, she just looked so cool. And she looked at me, and she hugged the 3 women, and she looked at me and she said, "Are you Sonny?" I said, "Yeah." And she just hugged me, and she said it was eerie. She said it was eerie when I walked on stage. She said she felt like she was looking at him, and it was it was startling. And
That's the
at
best
that moment,
review
like
you
I
can
don't know.
get.
I don't know that there's anything else I could have asked for her to say after that.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
she
You
was
guys,
lovely.
have you seen the Cher Show? See the Cher Show.
See the Cher
If
Show.
you haven't seen the Cher Show, go back.
That's right.
You got to see the Cher Show.
Yeah.
My daughter's obsessed with the Cher Show. We'll talk about that later. Also, go to Sony Hall on tax day
On tax day.
and learn about con men
That's
and women.
that's
Get
right.
conned on tax
Get
day.
conned. Get conned
with
by
Jarrod
con
Spector.
artists. Yeah, that's perfect. Nailed it.
You've got a log on.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyway,
It's a show all about puns, obviously. Yeah.
thanks for coming in,
Oh,
Jarrod.
thank you for
Caitlin,
having
will you
me.
take us on out?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts by searching for #live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We talk to Steven Skybell of the Yiddish production of Fiddler on the Roof.